Hey people, it's Christine Timmon back here once again, the Gangster of the Constitution on BGN TV. Hit that subscribe button because we're going to keep this live. Listen, all kinds of stuff has been happening. To those of you who watched the June 15th show, you heard me raking the United Nations and the United States Supreme Court. I raked them across the coals about the inappropriate immigration that they're doing. Well, guess what, people? Believe it or not, the United States Supreme Court redeemed itself. It overturned all of the unconstitutional international immigration and amnesty and asylum laws. Just like I said on the last show, it scared me. I don't know if they watched the show or not. All I can tell you is everything that I said on that show and previous shows, the Supreme Court did it. See, what caused this thing to happen about 70 years ago or something like that, the United Nations and the New World Order people and also the international law people, one of the people's name is Ur Jabu. I don't know if he was there then, but he represents them now. They wanted an international immigration plan so that they could open up the borders of all the countries in the world. Well, they got the United States open up first. And as you well know, now all of Europe is under subjection from illegal immigration. But we'll get to them later. Right now, I'd like to thank every member of the Supreme Court who felt it was time to overturn the old school ruling from 1965 and proceed forward now under the constitutional law. You see, under constitutional law, everybody can come to the United States under the Constitution. You don't need Congress and all this stuff they're doing. That's just something, those are international laws that Congress is following. So I'd like to let you know that we did get that out of the Supreme Court of the United States, and I would like to thank them. And they explain that foreign nationals and immigrants have absolutely no rights to due process in the United States for court hearings, anything at all. No judges, nothing. Not one. And I think what they're trying to do is segue it, as I said, back to state immigration. And I hope that was their plan. And they also, believe it or not, people, they went even further than what I said. They granted Donald Trump the power to fire federal judges. Yes, they did. And they also returned Trump's Muslim ban. Because you remember, we were talking about that on the last show, that the Supreme Court violated about 9 constitutional clauses when they did that. So we are some powerful people here, us citizens. See, I'm just a citizen just like you guys. I'm not one of them big shot, multi-million-dollar news mouthpieces. No, this is Christine Timmon. I'm the gangster of the Constitution. That's all I do, and I'm a subsidiary of Jewels of Knowledge, and I'm doing the Gangster of the Constitution show on BGN Network, and I'm telling you, you people need to subscribe to BGN because we're going to always keep it live. All of our shows are beautiful live shows, so you guys need to be Googling that and hit that subscribe button. So, as I said, the Supreme Court has released the American citizens from this bondage because under the bondage of the international laws of our immigration asylum, we have to pay for it. In the Constitution, we're not supposed to. Each state that wants to bring immigrants can bring them. That's where I think the court is trying to segue. They can bring all they want. It's Article 1, Section 9, and you guys have heard me say this ad nauseum, that all it says is, the first 19 words, is that migration and importation of such persons is what any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit. it's been like that all this time. They never changed that in the Constitution. The old school Supreme Court just let them do it anyway. What they did was they combined the Naturalizing Act. That's Article 1, Section 8, that gives Congress the power to do uniform naturalizing. They combined that with Article 1, Section 9, the immigration clause, and that's what they did for the UN, so they could start opening up the border and taking our money. And believe me, at the beginning, they told us that we're just borrowing this money. We know we can't give Mexicans money and the Cubans. We're going to pay it back in your income tax check. Ain't received a dime. I know I haven't, not even one dime. They get up and do a whole lot of bougie, big talk, trying to sound all erudite, and they be stealing all your money. That's what they've been doing. And that's what Trump is about, telling you what's been going on. And he's not erudite either. He might come up and say, oh, you go to hell. You don't know what he's going to say, because he tired too, just like the Supreme Court is. The Supreme Court is only 9 Supreme Court justices. And so the Democrats and all of their friends like the ACLU and all these groups talking about the release of the children, they putting all of these bogus cases into the constitutional federal courts that are really international law. So that's what the Supreme Court is trying to do. They're trying to stop them from loading up the courts with international law that actually takes away people's constitutional right to come here. See, every one of those people, if they want to come here, all they got to do is write to the state or find, no, you can't do it that way. You have to have at least one person in a state or business or an organization, Red Cross, school, church, whatever. They can sponsor you and get your names to the state. Once they do that, you get your passport then with that state's name and tell them where you're going. You have your little letter in your hand. Then you go to that state. Once you get there, your sponsors gets you registered. And then you get a card, an ID card. These days, it's got the strip on the back. I stop you, slide it, weep. I'm a resident of this state, so they're not illegal if they got that card and they swipe it and it's actually in the state records and in the records of the United States of America, because the state has to send the registration number and a check to the United States to register them in their state so they won't be deported. That is what's fixing to happen. And now they're not going to like it, because they not only do they have to pay that registration fee, the state is going to have their own welfare system, as I've told you repeatedly. That's the only thing the states don't like about it. See, they want to be able to bring all those people and then put them on the American taxpayers. So once we get it back in order, I bet you will not see a whole lot of states calling for immigrants, because they're going to have to pay for every one of them, and they'll have to have their own welfare system, and they have to be careful about employment, because they can't take any job away from American citizens. So if an immigrant has a job, an American citizen wants that job, then the American citizen can take that to constitutional court, and somebody's going to have to pay them. They're going to have to do something. So that's what I got to say today about the Supreme Court. I know you guys haven't heard anything. Listen, you might not like Mr. Trump, but he's telling you the truth. The media hates you. They're not going to tell you something like this so we can get the country straightened out. America's got trillions of dollars coming back in tax refunds. You think that they're not going to tell you? You have to watch BGN. That's why I told you people, subscribe to BGN Network. You hear a whole lot of constitutional and rational things on this channel, on this station. And so, I just want to say one final time, thank you to the United States Supreme Court for giving us back our constitutional courts. And let's just hope that Mr. Trump very soon starts to firing all of those judges who are doing international law in our court and return the courtroom back to the people. You got to understand, there's a lot of constitutional cases where people are owed millions of dollars, but the district courts always dismiss them. If it was a constitutional issue, You can dismiss it all you want, and you can give them amnesty, not asylum, but immunity. But under the constitutional law, they can't get immunity. So if you have a case in federal court that's about some city or some job violating your constitutional rights, hold on to it, because the court is going to turn right back into a constitutional court, and you will be able to take that case back in, because constitutional cases never go down. There is no expiration on time. Because I've got one in against the city of Lansing for about 8 or 9 years. I have a $45 million constitutional lien against them. The district judge, Robert Yonker, gave them immunity and said they didn't have to pay monetary. So they overrode the Supreme Court that said just the opposite. So that's it for today. Thank you, Supreme Court. So what I'm going to do right now, let's segue into some beautiful music, because everything I have to talk about in this show usually involves hatred. Well, I'm not a hater person. I'm a person who believes in love and happiness. So I'm fixing to segue into Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose, and they're going to sing to you about love. It's too late to turn back now. I'm falling in love.
Son, please beware. There's this thing called love, and it's everywhere. And she told me it can break your heart and put you in misery. Since I met this little woman, I feel it's happened to me, and I'm telling you, it's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love. It's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love. I found myself phoning her at least 10 times a day. You know, it's so unusual for me to carry on this way. I tell you, I can't sleep at night, wanting to hold her tight. I tried so hard to convince myself that this feeling just can't be right, and I'm telling you, it's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love. It's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love. It's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love. It's too late, baby. I believe I'm falling in love. I wouldn't mind it if I knew she really loved me too, but I'd hate to think that I'm in love alone and nothing that I can do. Oh, it's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love. It's too late, baby. I tell ya, I believe I'm falling in love. It's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love. Oh, baby, I tell ya, I believe I'm falling in love. It's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in.
Hey guys, I love that song, Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. I can listen to it all night long. That's what you're going to get here on BGN. Yeah, we're going to give you the news. We're going to give you the truth. We're going to tell you about hatred. But from now on, we're going to also show you that this is not the way the United States was. What you see now, someone made it up with a bunch of hatred. But now you're not going to see any rap songs now because you can't play any of them. They all got bad words in them. And I don't like the way they denigrate the black community with the N-word. So you're never going to see that. So let's segue now into something else that's very important here. Let me get oh, hey, you remember all the stuff I've been telling you about the Muslims? You remember Dr. James Warner? The clip I had on him was about 4 minutes, and he explained to you why so many that they do incest. Well, you know, it's all over the place now. Everybody around the world is recognizing that they're being duped by the Muslims. What they mean by it is one man can have 4 wives or 5 or whatever, and they're usually his first cousin by law of Allah, they say. So one man, he's got 4 or 5 wives. He get all of them pregnant. Each one of them have 3 or 4 kids. Then he take all those kids and put it on some country's welfare, like they're doing in Switzerland and Austria, England. They just beating them people up, and they always bragging about, oh, the Muslim, the fastest growing nation and the fastest growing religion. Well, I guess so. If you got 4 wives, all of them your first cousin, you get all of them pregnant 4 or 5 times, I guess you would be the fastest growing. And so over in England, they're trying to stop it. And I know, I showed you guys Sebastian Kurz of Austria. You remember that good-looking young guy? He shut down 7 mosques and threw out 60 imams. And they're working every day to do this because I think that's taking an unfair advantage of all the other men. Men don't be trying to run around here having no 4 and 5 wives and getting all of them pregnant. They don't do that. You know why they don't do it in America? You be at family court. And see, what they do in America, they let these Muslim men do that. And they don't have to go to family court. They don't pay, what you call it, what is it called? I'm asking my director now. Friend of the court. They don't have to go there. They don't have to pay that. They just put all 10, 12, 15 of their kids on the American men. And you guys should be sick of it because they certainly are working hard overseas. And they're always talking about Allah is so great. Excuse me? Well, if Allah is so great, why are his people begging by the multi-millions? You people need to grow up and wake up. What you need to do is Google Switzerland, France, Italy, Hungary, Germany, and look at what they've done. All the beautiful nations that I was going to visit in my retirement time, I can't go over there. You see how beautiful I am? What do you think going to happen to me? The Muslims go up and down the street just snatching women off the street and molesting them all the way. Sometimes it'd be 8 or 9 of them, see 3 or 4 women from other countries, and ain't nothing they can do. All in Germany, Austria doing something about it. Switzerland, well, one of the reasons stuff isn't being done is because Theresa May runs Britain and Merkel, she runs Germany. And these 2 women, they are the ones who are loosening all these men to go out there and rape up the women and children in their countries. So that could be a part of it. Because I noticed the countries that are led by men, they telling you, I'm sick of the United Nations, all these immigration laws that we can't afford. And they coming over here and robbing and stealing and raping up the women and children. You heard what Sebastian Kurz did. Later on, I'm going to put on a clip to show you what the Russians do. But yeah, I get sick and tired of that. And then talking about they're going to jihad all the other religions. Excuse me? The religion of God don't tell you just go and jihad. It just tell you mind your own business, follow the law of the land, and the Constitution say everybody got the right to practice whatever religion they want without being set upon by people talking about we're going to jihad you if you don't do it our way. So here is my suggestion to Allah's people while you running around here begging and slobbering in all these countries. Oh, I can't feed my family. Oh, I'm homeless. Oh, I'm a child of Allah and I don't have anything. And then yet you want to try to make us think that Allah is the greatest God, but you got to go begging all the other countries. It's disgusting. So what y'all need to do is recognize that you are following a false God. He can't feed you. He can't do nothing. You have to rely on the Christians. That's who you have to rely on. Who do you think built everything in this world? So you need to give us some more respect here, up in here. You need to give the Presbyterians and the Baptists and the Catholics, give us all some respect. We the one that built stuff. Allah, y'all didn't build nothing. So that's what I got to say. And the final thing I'm going to say to you is if you want to jihad a religion, that means you want to destroy all these other religions, why don't you just look in the mirror and do a suicidal jihad? All of y'all get together like they did with Jim Jones' time when they went to that island and they all took Kool-Aid, spiked Kool-Aid. That's what all of you need to do. Instead of worrying about jihad and other religions, if you don't like it here on this earth, see, we happy. We want to be happy. You guys want to run around spreading the black death all the time, running around in them black hijabs and trying to act like you so holy, and then you sleeping with your first cousin. All you girls sleeping with your first cousin, and then you got on these hijabs. So that tells me there is no love in the Muslim community. How you gonna be in love with all your cousins? And this is why you see all this stuff. So look, we just want to be happy. The other religions, we're not bothering nobody else. We want to sing and dance and shout and do our religion. So if you want to jihad somebody, do a worldwide suicidal jihad and jihad yourself and leave us alone. You are boring and people is sick and tired of being bored by all these people who want to be unhappy, don't want no love in their life. They want to put all this hatred into all the other religions. Well, you need to stop doing it. Like I say, I hope you jihad yourself and leave the world alone. So right now, what we're going to do now, we're going to go to a clip. As I told you, in Switzerland and all them places over there, they're beating the stuffings out of the white nations. Notice they ain't messing with China, Japan, Korea. They know who to mess with. The UN turned them loose on the white nations because they gonna have sympathy. I'm sorry, but white people got to stop all this sympathy mess. They have sympathy for all this, and they don't look and see how bad it's gonna be. And then when they get there, oh my God, then they gotta call down Trump or call Christine Timmon to find out what to do. So I'm going to show you what the Russians do. So watch this clip and see what the Russians do when they come there talking about stealing and doing all this stuff and all that slobbering they do. See what the Russians do for them.
Лицо вниз! Лежать!
Я принял. Не так люди.
Лех! Лех! Телефон давай.
Я иду просто.
Меняется. Ну сейчас где-то.
Welcome back once again. Hey, this is BGN. We're not playing. I told you, hit that subscribe button. You will find out what's going on all over the world. Things that you are not going to hear. You probably never heard any of this or seen any of this on the fake media. So always try to hit that subscribe button and come back in here to BGN. Now, what we're going to do right now, you remember, people, you remember the show, I think it was the April and the May shows, where we talked about Medicare reform. And I told you about how in South Florida, oh my goodness, 85% of the Medicare thieves or more are foreigners. The U.S. Attorney said that the Cubans since 1990s have found myriads of ways to fleece Medicare and other federal entitlement programs. Then they said that South Florida is an immigrant crime wave area. I'm sure you all remember when a couple, or maybe about 3 years ago, you might remember ID theft and we couldn't get our income tax checks. It was South Florida. The immigrants who worked at the hospitals and clinics, they had a ring. Every time you go to one of them, they get your ID and they send it to the ring leader, and the ring leader sent stuff from the south, got sent up north, and then stuff from the north got sent down here, and vice versa, east and west. And that's how they was ripping off all your stuff. Well, the FBI caught them. So that's just another thing that the immigrants were doing. It was the Haitians, Jamaicans, Mexicans, and the Cubans. Only about 3 Americans was in it, believe it or not. This is all coming from them. So Jeff Sessions, he did just like I asked him to. I inquired of him and Congress. Oh, I've been telling Congress for years that they could not come back and say anything else about Medicare reform unless they let the people know how much money is being stolen. Because people be wondering, what you mean? We broke. We now you know. Jeff Sessions listened to me, thank God, because I called his number over and over about this. I talked to people on the Ways and Means Committee, Kevin Brady, and I talked to Pete Roskin. He's on the Tax Committee. All of them. Fred Upton. I talked to everybody. Freeling-Heising. I just talk. Lamar Alexander. Everybody just talk. You can't do Medicare reform without telling the people how much money is being stolen. And from what Jeff Sessions uncovered, nearly 1,000 medical providers. The state of Florida, $337 million. Texas, $295. California, $667 million. And just the top 3. You count that up. That comes out to anywhere from $3 to $5 million a day being stolen from Medicare. So every time you hear them say Medicare going broke, call your congressman and say, what you talking about? They need to get that money back. And they can get it back. The top 2 in Florida are Philip S. Formes and the Delgado brothers. Google them. They're already in prison. I told Congress all they got to do is take their businesses into receivership because their businesses are still operating. All of these people that they just captured, the United States government is supposed to take them into receivership until Medicare is repaid. What that means is the office runs just like it's been running. And the person who owns it can still get a salary. But all the profit go right back into Medicare we stole it from. And as far as I'm concerned, Medicare recipients should be sent something back. From what, $3 to $5 million a day, they supposed to send the Medicare recipients some money back, some refunds. I've already told them. See, this is the same thing they did back in the 60s when they started giving the Cubans your money. Oh, they said they was going to return it with income tax refunds. Well, I already won that case. Y'all know that. At least I tried for at least $10 trillion. That's already been approved. Supreme Court might not know they do it, or maybe they know. All I know is when they overturned Obama, that was a part of my claim was if Obama is not allowed to bring these immigrants and give that money, then no other president or Congress could ever do it either. So therefore, I told the Supreme Court that I need you to return $10 trillion, a tax refund to all the United States citizens whose citizenship is before 1965. So if your parents were here before 1965, you are a part of the heritage. If your parents came after 1965, you're not a part of the heritage, so you can't apply for it. So this is where I'm trying to go. I work for the people. Jewels of Knowledge is sponsored by Christine Timmon. I pay for everything. And I picked BGN Network. He's the management around here. If you got anything to say about anything syndicated or whatever, you can just call him. Because the only thing I do is tell you what's happening. So that's what I got to say today about Medicare reform. Once again, we scored. Go back and look at your April and May shows. And so I think Jeff Sessions, I know they say things about it. I don't care what they say about it, as long as he continues to doing his job. And insofar as this stuff go, about the immigrants, well, he's supposed to be announcing. Don't be surprised. Our Attorney General, he may have to announce that the United States will no longer accept any international law cases in United States District Court. The clerk should be alerted that she or he has to send those cases back to the hands of the ACLU or whoever put it in there, because we're going to go back to being a constitutional court. That's when all you guys can start using the court again. I told you, I'm a 45 millionaire here. The city of Lansing still owe me that money. As soon as we get these courts back up, you can use the courts again. Nobody will be able to discriminate against you. Go right to U.S. District Court. It's called a Form JS 44. Fill that form out, and they'll take you from there if someone violated any due process rights of the Constitution. That's where we're trying to get you back to, because you can't do that now because the district court, they're going to dismiss it because they only do international law, and they're going to wind up getting fired. Telling you, Trump going to fire him. And so when y'all see him fired, don't get to holler, because if you don't start doing it soon, I'm going to find a way to try to do it myself in order to help the people. So so we can just be thankful, for Jeff Sessions getting the information to you that we're having anywhere from $3 to $5 million a day stolen from Medicare. And so if your Congress people, it's election time, call them and ask them, when are you going to get a refund for your Medicare, because you found out that $3 to $5 million is being stolen a day by the medical providers, and ask them, why haven't you guys put them in receivership? So anyway, I have to segue away now. It's a good thing. Now that's a good thing. I love it when I can tell y'all something good where we might can try to get you some of your money back. But unfortunately, can I take a sip of water right quick? And I'll tell you why. Now I gotta discuss Maxine Waters. Well, I don't want to have to do this. Because I've been in and around Congress for 30 years, and I'm not a politician. And I'm not a congressman, but they have done a whole lot of laws that I like, and one of them is actually my law. And that was the welfare reform law of 1996 that Clinton signed. And you guys saw the letter from Congressman Dick Chrysler talking about the Christine Timmon law. Well, I'm sorry, people, but Maxine Waters is wrong. She is so too wrong. She sounds like Idi Amin. You remember Idi Amin? You young people don't know about him. But Google Idi Amin, Idi-Amin, and there's a movie about him. He used to encourage people to do things to the opposition, beat them up, throw a burning chair around their neck. They used to do all kinds of stuff like that. It's wrong. And I'm going to be honest with you. Under the laws of sedition and causing a riot and enticing people to destroy and harm others, she was really supposed to be arrested. But they're not going to do it. No, we can't do it. No, we can't arrest her because she's black. And, we don't need any more stuff from the left, about her. But she's really behaving like a geriatric person with dementia. She acting demented. I'm not saying that she is. I'm just saying she's behaving that way because I've seen that happen in older people. They just become extremely violent. They're the opposite of Alzheimer's. They just sit there all day, may not say nothing. They may walk off, you may not see them again. They got Alzheimer's. At least I'd rather for them to have Alzheimer's, just sit there and be quiet. But she's not going to do that. And then she's got some backing. Joy Beatty, she got into it, telling me she would pay her, to talk like that. Well, as I said, under the laws of the United States, it is a felony to get out on the street and cause someone to riot, incite, anything like that, and especially when it's elected officials. And she's an elected official herself. So I just feel sorry for her that she can't find a better way, to educate her people. She wants to continue miseducating her people. Maxine Waters' people in Los Angeles, 90% of them are on the street practically. And another thing, the Democrats, they have become so boring. Oh my God. And what they're doing, this is political suicide. And they need to know that's a crime too. All this political suicide they're committing. And I think, at the polls, what we need to do is just arrest them and put them out of their misery and don't vote for them so they can go home and cure and heal themselves because they're sick. And they have put a bunch of crazy black women and crazy white women as their leaders. And then they're saying that the black women are the backbone of the United States Democrat Party. Well, guess what? You heard that song, Step on a Crack and Break Your Mother's Back? Well, if they're the leader of the Democrat Party, I'm going to start stepping on cracks. I'm going to break the backs of the Democrat women who keep putting all this misinformation to all of the young people who could be getting paid if they knew the right thing. So her and Kirsten Gillibrand and Elizabeth Warren, Pelosi, all of them, these are the backbone of the Democrat Party. Now, Schumer just running his mouth. That's all he doing. He just running his mouth. He been through. The leaders now are the women. And that crazy Latino woman, Ortiz, she had to change her bio 3 or 4 times, trying to pretend like she just, a little disadvantaged Bronx kid. Then we found out she was rich. I'm gonna be telling you the truth about her. I think the drug lords are backing her, cause who else talking about some shutting down ICE? Well, who won't ICE shut down? The drug lords. You've heard Donald Trump told you over and over again how many of the drug dealers they bust. Well, okay, the drug lords are sick of that. So I believe they had something to do with her election. And Joe Crowley, the one who went down, that wasn't her. I think that was just his constituents thinking, he gonna win anyway, so they didn't go out. And guess what he did? He went back and found some way in the election law, so he gonna still be on the ballot. So I say congratulations to Joe Crowley. And I'm not a Democrat. I'm a Republican. And when they do something I don't like, believe me, I tell them, as y'all well know. So, but right now we're talking about Auntie Maxine. Auntie Maxine should not be teaching her children all these filthy things. And then Joy Beatty, she doing some song with Drake. Well, I told y'all about Drake, Chris Rock, not Chris Rock, but what is his name? Chris Brown, Jay-Z, all those rappers, they got to put the N-word in everything they sing, or MF and all. They all them cussing and going on. And then you got Beyonce, and you got Rihanna, and what's that girl name? The one I'm going to throw out of the country. Oh, Nicki Minaj, and Miley Cyrus. She needs slapping down, all of them, and Cardi B. I saw her posing, I don't know, I think it was on Rolling Stone, and some man, she's pregnant, and she's standing there, and some man kissing her belly. It looked like prenatal pornography, prenatal child abuse. Everything they do look filthy. When are they going to start trying to do something that doesn't look so filthy? Because hundreds of millions of people are watching them, and so they're helping to spread all this filthy stuff. I wish they would cut it out. They've made enough money now. They need to sit down, and we got to go back to the thing that make everybody happy, because all that stuff is nothing but hatred. Well, I think I got about 5 more minutes left here on the show. And so I just wanted to tell you that we're not going to do any hater stuff on this show without also showing you some love. Okay, we're going to do that too. I know you heard Cornelius' brother and sister Rose. Before the show ends, I got a couple more for you. But for right now, I just got to say to Maxine again, stop miseducating the children. And Joy Beatty talking about she's so pretty and all this stuff. Ha! Ha! I beg to differ. See, I think Maxine is 81 and Joy is 68. Well, I'm 76. They can't beat me. I have to card teenagers. I have to tell them. They look old. They look old. I don't look old. You can't tell it. Women get so jealous of me, I have to run sometimes. I told you, when I lived in South Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, I had to have restraining orders against all of them. The Haitians, the Spanish, the Mexicans. I actually had to go to court. And the guy gets in the court and say, well, I love her. He about 21. What are you talking so that's what I got to say to Maxine today, and to Joy Beatty, and Kirsten Gillibrand, Elizabeth Warren, and Ortiz, whoever she is. Y'all need to go somewhere and sit down. Now, Ortiz is young, but she looks old, and her eyes all bugging out and stuff. They need to go to get some medical advice, all of them. And Maxine, she definitely, because I've been knowing her for years, been watching everything she do, and she said some wild things, but at least she didn't sound like she sounds now. She sounds demented, and she sounds like Idi Amin. No, she's always been graceful with her disagreement until now, and I'm just really shocked and ashamed for. I know she don't have something to be ashamed for herself, so I'm ashamed for Maxine, and Joy Beatty should be ashamed of herself for encouraging this mess. And what is she doing hanging around with them rappers anyway? And I heard they trying to get all up in religious music. These people need to go somewhere and sit down, and we got to start a new world. In order to start the new world, we got to go back to the past. Y'all remember that movie, Back to the Future? See, back in my day, all this stuff that Maxine and her crew are telling you about racism, I don't know what they're talking about. I do remember one. down south. But other than that, it was all love and happiness between the races. Now I'm going to put on Jay and the Techniques. And what they're singing about is love and happiness between a man and a woman, and they're baking apples, peaches, and pumpkin pies. Watch 'em.
Ready or not, here I come. Gee, that used to be such fun. Apple peaches, pumpkin pie. Who not ready? Holler, that's a game we used to play. Yeah. Hide and seek was its name. Ready or not, here I come. Gee, that used to be such fun. I always used to find a hiding place. Time to change. Well, I'm one step behind you, but still I can't find you. Apple peaches, pumpkin pie. You were younger, so was I. Now that we've grown up, it seems you just keep ignoring me. I'll find you anywhere you go. I'm gonna look high and low. You can escape this love of mine anytime. Well, I'll sneak up behind you. Be careful when I find you. Apple peaches, pumpkin pie. Soon your love will be all mine. Then I'm gonna take you home. Marry you so you won't roam. Baby, marry you so you won't roam right now, now, now. I'll find you anywhere you go. I'm gonna look high and low. You can't escape this love of mine anytime. Well, I sneak up behind you. Be careful when I find you. Lady on my yeah, yeah, yeah. Here I come. I used to be such a fun. Now, 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 now. Here I come.
Hey guys, how do you like that on BGN? We want to cook some apple peaches and pumpkin pie. Subscribe, because we're going to keep it live. Now you heard that? You heard that? He said, ready or not, here I come. That's the way they were back in the day. I don't know nothing about this, all this racist. They started it. They did. Because the racists was getting along beautifully. I went to school with him. I lived with him. And then in 68, it was President Johnson who brought in the welfare and the drugs, as I've told you before, to destroy the black community first, put you in a welfare drug subculture. Then they paid the rappers. You remember, I got the tune. I'm going to find it. And you're going to hear the guy saying they wrote a check and say, wet your chest or something. They got paid to do all these dirty, filthy raps on purpose. So you're not going to hear that here. I just got to tell you what Maxine is telling you is not true. I want us to go back to love and happiness amongst the races the way it was when I was a little girl. Everybody was happy, singing and dancing. So now you just heard Jay and Techniques. They trying to get some girl, and guess what she told them? I'm finna put the clip on now to show you what she told the guy. Oh, you ready? Well, guess what? I'm ready as well. That's what you got to listen to now on BGN News. You're going to hear Barbara Mason telling Jay and the Techniques, yes, I'm ready to love.
The
Okay, people, here we are again. How did you like that? She said, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to love. She didn't say, I'm ready for you to beat me up and call me a bunch of dirty names and talk about wetting my chest and ripping me apart. That's what I love to hear. The women were so beautiful with the men, and it was all interracial. Don't believe what they're telling you. We sang and danced, and we got together. Oh, they didn't like it when we did that. It was Dick Clark. They didn't like it when Dick Clark started bringing the black couples on. They didn't like it. So what they did, when they saw that we was not playing, the races was fixing to get together, we was for the party, and stop all that fighting, President Johnson, he stopped that. He got with the UN and the international people and the communists, and they didn't want the races to get along because they was fixing to divide the whole world. So they stopped us with rap and welfare. You know, and so I'm just glad that we finding out about all these things, and I love the way the young lady presented herself. You know, that's the way they did. You know, they didn't get on the phone and just calling men, and they waited until they were invited. And the guy, oh, you couldn't get rid of them. They be singing all them songs all the time. You don't have to worry about your phone ring, because they're going to be ringing that phone anyway. See, they don't call you now because they've been taught to hate women. That's the way it is with the Muslims. You see, they marry their cousin. You know, ain't no love lost. Ain't no love there at all. So, but we're going to come back to Christianity, and we're going to come back to sanity and stop all this insane behavior. The Catholics, the Methodists, all the people who just want to have some love and happiness. There's a way to do it, and you find out about that here on BGN. So that's why you got to subscribe. Now, if you don't subscribe, I'm just going to be sitting somewhere feeling sorry for you, missing all the fun. You know, so as I said, I'm extremely happy to be able to bring this to you. And guess what you're going to get next time? I'm bringing the crystals with They Do Run Run. And I'm bringing the occasions with I'm a Girl Watcher. Oh, those were some fun days. I mean, everybody was filled with love and happiness. You didn't need any dope. We were just high on love. You know, that's the way it was. And then they brought the dope in and the hatred. Well, I'm sick of it. I want to start back having fun with everybody. And I hope everybody agrees with me. And you could always give me a call. A lot of people give me a call. If even one person called in a week, I call that a lot. Because you know why? Because other people have called them. I got one call from a lady one day. Woo! She was upset about, you know, when I did the Texas militia. Well, I'm sorry, but that's the law. That's because we live in a time of hatred. That's all I can do. I would love to bring you shows where I have a lot to tell you about how you can go get job training and situations like that. But that's Obama stopped all that. We're still living in Obama nation. So none of these things can I completely do. But you know what is coming up? With the way the Supreme Court is behaving, congratulations to the United States Supreme Court for freeing us from that subjection of the international laws. And congratulations to U.S. Attorney Jeff Sessions for letting us know that they've been stealing $3 to $5 million or more a day from Medicare. Now we got to react to that. And start calling somebody, call your congressman so they can start getting us paid. So I appreciate you for coming today. This is Gangster of the Constitution, brought to you by Jewels of Knowledge Media Production on BGN Network. We gonna keep it alive around here. We do not do any jive. We're going to keep it alive on VGN. Subscribe.